Ya Rabbil Alameen. And I like that message that I had on Zoom, MashaAllah, another sister Maryam, that she is talking about that she is waiting for the lecture. And I think she is guessing about if I will talk about the examples, the people that Allah had tested, Moses with Aaron, or she said Ilgia, or Lut, or Yunus. So I'm so eagerly anticipating this much. So may Allah bless you. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. And as I promised you, that we will continue with Surah Al-Saffat. So Brother Muhammad Ali will agree this time with me that this is the 5th lecture in the surah. And actually, we talked about the first example for Sayyidina Ibrahim was about the submission to Allah, about the Tawheed, about singling Allah out with the worship. And number 2, when he was tested. Today, I will give you 3 examples for 3 prophets. And those prophets, Allah had mentioned them in Surah Al-Saffat. And 2 of them we are so familiar with. The third, I don't believe that you have heard his story too much. And inshallah, I'm planning, if Allah give us life and time, that we will share a lot about the prophets and the messengers and the Sahaba that we do not know or people are not familiar with, especially in Ramadan, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us 2 examples, and Allah in Surah Al-Saffat, Allah did not talk a lot about them. Allah briefly had mentioned their mission, their message, and that prophet, the first one, is Prophet Ilyas. Prophet Ilyas. Who is the Prophet Ilyas? And in which area? And what was the problem of his people? Because, you know, when Allah is sending prophets or messengers, that means there is a problem. There is a disobedience to Allah, and it became so large, prominent. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had mentioned this in the Quran. Whenever he finds corruption amongst people, he will send a prophet or a messenger. So Allah said, Prophet Ilyas, this is what Allah said, very, very brief in Surah Al-Saffat, that he said to his people, Ala tattaqun, don't you have taqwa to Allah? Means what? Worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he said, Atad'una ba'lan wa tadharuna ahsan al-khaliqin. Are you going to have to submit yourselves to an idol? What's the name of that idol? Is Ba'al. In which city that he was in? He was in the city of Ba'labak. Where is Ba'labak? Ba'labak right now, or the current Ba'labak, is in Lebanon. But some scholars said the Ba'labak on the time of that prophet, it is now the west of Syria, the west of Damascus. So that area, Allah had sent to them a prophet, and they have the name of the idol, half of the name of the city. So the whole city, Ba'labak, and half of it, Ba'al. So that was the name of the idol. They used to worship one idol, that's his name, or that's the name of the idol, and he came to fight against this. So in another way, he is calling them for what? For Tawheed. And he said clearly, وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ رَبِّي وَرَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُوهُ. Allah is my Lord and your Lord. So worship Allah alone and do not associate partners with him. So that's Prophet Ilyas. But what you are going to see at the end of the story, Allah said, Salamun ala Ilyasin. Is that reminds you of something? Salamun ala Yasin. It seems like Surah Yasin, right? Okay. But Salamun ala Ilyasin actually means Ilyas and the people of Ilyas, those who had believed in him. You know, when we say Abrahamic, means what? The people who followed Prophet Ibrahim. When we say Mosaic, when we say, you know, some of the Turkish countries, they call the Muslims there, they call them what? Muhammadism. Muhammadism means the followers of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So if I said that the family of brother Hamza, I would say what? Hamaziyak, right? So his family, so the family of Hamza, okay? So that's exactly what Allah had mentioned. Allah had sent salam not only to Ilyas, the prophet Ilyas, but to the entire people who believed with him. And Prophet Ilyas is mentioned in Islam, in Judaism, and in Christianity. Known in the Bible with the name of Elijah. And you will find his story, and there is kind of similarity between his story in the Bible and the story in the Quran as well. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked with us about the story of the prophet that you are familiar with his name, Prophet Lut. Prophet Lut, the same message. He said to his people, Ala tattaqun, and don't you have taqwa to Allah? Don't you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone? And Allah briefly, he mentioned that his people had belied him. They came against him. They told him a liar. Then Allah said, we crushed them. We crushed them. That's why in 2-3 lines, Allah told us about the story of Lut, very brief in Surah Al-Saffat. And Allah said, وَإِنَّكُمْ لَتَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهِمْ مُصْبِحِينَ. That's a very powerful message. Allah said, you might pass by them in the morning, but at night, when the night came, Allah had crushed them. And Allah saved Lut and his people. Except what? Except his wife. Because she was helping. She was pleased with. She was like giving support to the disbelievers and actually betraying her husband and the messenger or the prophet of Allah by telling his news, by telling his plans to the disbelievers. So Allah had made him to be tortured and to be punished as well. One of the things that we need to know about the Prophet Lut, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made his people to be a great miraculous sign for us. So we can see the problem and their disobedient to Allah because they loved like to have the homosexuality and the LGBTQ and all of these things. And it is a message. It is mentioned in the Bible. It's mentioned in Judaism, in Christianity, and in Islam as well. So do not think it's all about Muslims only. So if somebody came and he claimed that he is religious, we tell him, go back to your scripture, read, then learn. And when you learn, then your hearts will be opened to the truth. The third story that I wanted to share with you, and I will pause a little bit with that story because Allah did not mention that story in brief in Surah Al-Saffat. And Allah said, وَإِنَّ يُونُسَ لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Who is Yunus? Prophet Jonah, right? Mentioned in the Bible? Yes. Mentioned in the Old Testament and the New Testament with the name of Yunan. Okay? Or Yunan. Jonah, Prophet Yunus, That's in Arabic. Allah said, وَإِنَّ يُونُسَ لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. He's one of those that Allah had sent to the human beings. إِذْ أَبَقَ إِلَى الْفُلْكِ الْمَشْحُونِ. And just for you, maybe Habib, this is the first time, maybe Ismail, this is the first time, maybe Brother Rashid, maybe the first time to listen to that story, but it has a great listen to us. And I was talking with one of the people today, and I said, you know what, that's a great listen, even for the imams, for the sheikhs, for the people who are teaching the Islamic knowledge. You know why? Because Yunus alayhi salam, his people give him hard time. And he became so frustrated to the point that he broke the oath, the promise with Allah, and he left his mission. Like you ask about Imam Ali, Imam Ali left the mission. Why? That's it. He is a prophet of Allah, assigned by whom? Allah, the creator. But he became so frustrated to that point that he left his people. Khalas. I'm not interested anymore to deliver the da'wah. You see? Now you can just try to imagine what did they do with him actually. How did they drive him crazy like this to reach to the point? And you know how Allah described this? The word is so deep. Like if I called Malik, if I called Hajj Wajdi, if I called Mu'tasim, if I called any of the brothers, I said, can you explain that word? When Allah said, إِذْ أَبَقَى, أَبَقَى. Can you say that? What's the meaning of the word أَبَقَى? Huh? Kept. No, completely. Malik. What is the meaning of the word أَبَقَى? إِذْ أَبَقَى إِلَى الْفُلْكِ الْمَشْحُونِ. أَبَقَى. So, yes. You are very close to the meaning. But let me give you explanation. You will not find one word in English to give the whole meaning for the word. Abaqa, it comes from the word abiq. Abiq, it comes with the servant and the slave that who came against the commands of his servant. And his servant became mad at him. And he felt regret. And he decided to flee, to escape from his servant and to move to another place. That is all in one word. Abiq. Abiq. Abaqa, the slave who disobeyed the command of his servant, of his master, and he became abiq, rebellious. Rebellious. But even rebellious will not give you the sense of remorse. Who became feeling so guilty to the point that he couldn't even face his master and talk to him and ask him to forgive him. He thinks himself that he has no credit left. That's why Allah said, إِذْ أَبَقَ إِلَى الْفُلْكِ الْمَشْحُونِ. He flee, he escaped to the ship. He went. Now you can imagine a prophet of Allah, he got frustrated with his people, he decided to leave the city, and he wanted to travel to the other side of the shore, to the other side of the sea, and he went to the ship. Allah said, فَسَاهَمَ. فَسَاهَمَ. It seems like there was a problem on the ship. It was drowning, sinking. So they wanted to draw lots, and he wanted to go for raffle with them, and they wanted to reduce the weight on the ship, so they throw all the luggages. Then now it's continuing to sink, and he decided, or they decided, that let's get rid of some human beings, of some people, some men on the ship. And in order to choose who might stay and who might be thrown out, let's draw lots. Have the coin. Let's see. Let's draw lots. Allah said in a very, like, subhanallah, amazing way, beautiful way. Allah had mentioned all of that in one word. فَسَاهَمَ. That's it. And we say it in Arabic, ضَرَبَ بِسَهْمٍ. ضَرَبَ بِسَهْمٍ. ذَهَبَ إِلَى الْقُرْعَةِ. فَسَاهَمَ. Listen. فَكَانَ مِنَ الْمُدْحَضِينَ. And he was chosen to be one of those who would be thrown out of the ship. Subhanallah. Do you think it is a punishment from Allah? Maybe. Maybe. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to test him. That is the test that I was still talking about yesterday. So Allah said, once he jumped in the water, now you can see a big ship, they throw everything, lots of people, they drew lots, and lots of waves are coming, and the ship like playing in the side in the midst of the ocean, and they are at night, and he decided once they draw lots and he was chosen, they throw him out of the ship in the midst of the darkness, in the midst of the ocean. He was thrown out. So you know what? Allah said, فَالْتَقَمَهُ الْحُوتُ. Then the whale immediately. So Allah did not leave him to suffer with swimming or to suffer with the waves. Allah did not say, ثُمَّ الْتَقَمَهُ. ثُمَّ, we could not understand that he spent some time in the ocean trying to swim, trying to be saved. No, Allah said, once they throw him out, the whale had swallowed him in one bite. What kind of whale? Lots of opinions amongst the scholars. They said the blue whale. The blue whale had taken him in one bite and kept him in his mouth. فَالْتَقَمَهُ. You know, when you read about the blue whale, it does not crush things because it doesn't have teeth. It doesn't have anything. It has only like little things to allow it to swallow the big amounts of fish. That's why he was taken in the mouth of the whale. فَالْتَقَمَهُ الْحُوتُ وَهُوَ مُلِيمٌ. And he felt regret. He got the message. Actually, he got the message. He said to Allah, "Oh Allah, yes, I was wrong. Oh Allah, that was my fault. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't leave my people. I shouldn't disobey you. I should stay and try. And even if I will leave, I wanted to take your permission, oh Allah, which I didn't make it." وَهُوَ مُلِيمٌ. Allah said, فَلَوْلَا أَنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُسَبِّحِينَ. Hadn't he been one of those who are making tasbih to Allah? That was the reason for him to be saved. If he didn't make tasbih to Allah, hadn't he been amongst those who are making tasbih to Allah, he might stay the rest of his life, and that whale will be his grave. Means he will die inside. But Allah had saved him. How long did he stay in the mouth of the whale? Don't say the belly of the whale. No, because he couldn't handle the belly of the whale. Allah said, iltaqama. Allah did not say ibtala'a. Allah did not say ibtala'a. No, Allah did not say he was in the stomach or in the belly. Iltaqama, to keep, it comes from the luqma. Iltaqama, he kept him in his mouth. How long? For how long? The scholar said he stayed 3 days. 3 days in the mouth of the whale. فَالْتَقَمَهُ الْحُوتُ وَهُوَ مُلِيمٌ. And he made tasbih to Allah. What did he say? لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت. And what this message gives us? What is the message of this tasbih gives us? If you was in trouble, say that tasbih. If you feel depressed, say that. If you feel anxiety, say that. If you are in the midst of the storm, say that. Allah said, that's the tasbih had saved Yunus alayhi salam. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka. In another surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we have heard his dua from the layers of the darkness. Can you tell me how many layers of darkness? 3. What's the first one? The darkness of night, the darkness of the ocean, the darkness of the mouth of the whale. He amongst like 3 layers of darkness, and still his dua was answered. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when he said that, Allah had saved him. فَلَوْلَا أَنَّ لَلَبِثَ فِي بَطْنِي إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. Allah said, فَنَبَذْنَاهُ بِالْعَرَاءِ وَهُوَ سَقِيمٌ. We made the well to spit him outside. Subhanallah, look at the qudra of Allah. Who gives the order to the whale? Allah. Allah gave the order to the whale to keep him in the mouth, and then give the order to the whale to throw him out to the shore. And Allah said he was so sick. وَهُوَ سَقِيمٌ. Can you imagine stay in the mouth of the whale? Can you imagine? So he was saqim. He was so sick. Maybe his skin has something, his bones has something, he has body aching, he was so tired, suffering from the fatigue, hunger. And Allah said, he was thrown out. Listen to this. وَأَنْبَتْنَا عَلَيْهِ شَجَرَةً مِنْ يَقْطِينٍ. Allahu Akbar. And we favored him. We bestowed our ni'mah upon him. We blessed him by having him, by giving or granting him a plant of yaqteen. What is yaqteen? The pumpkin. That's one of the opinions. And actually it's one of the famous opinions about the yaqteen. It has the big and wide leaves, okay? And he used those leaves to get healing for his body. So he wrapped his skin with the yaqteen, and he got healed, and he got shade, and also got what? Food to eat. And then what happened? Allah said, we gave him the order. Now he repented to Allah. Imam, how did he repent to Allah? Say the dua. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu. Where is tawbah in the dua? Inni kuntu min al-zalimin. I am amongst the wrongdoers. He admitted his mistake. He acknowledged his fault. He said, yes, I was wrong. One word, I was wrong. Inni kuntu min al-zalimin. Subhanallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that time wanted to show him that he accepted his repentance. Allah said, وَأَرْسَلْنَاهُ إِلَى مِئَةِ أَلْفٍ أَوْ يَزِيدُونَ. Allah had sent him back now to his people. Once he entered to his people, and Allah is giving us the capacity, the size of his community. How much? 100,000. Can you imagine? Like, it's bigger than the community of Richey, right? 100,000. It's bigger than the Muslim community in Richey. And Allah had sent him 200,000 at that time. That's too big, too much number, like too large community. It's a big community. And Allah said, once he entered into the city, listen to this, فَآمَنُوا بِهِ. All of them had believed in him, believed in his message. Allah wanted to show him what? If you had sabr, if you had patience, they would believe. They will believe. If you waited, if you had some sabr, because the guidance come from whom? From Allah. Guidance will come from Allah. So Allah had opened up their hearts. They felt guilty. They said, we shouldn't do this with our Prophet. Actually, he was a nice man. He was a good man. He asked us to be nice, to have the good morals, to have the good ethics, to be nice to each other. He prohibited the haram things. We shouldn't do that with him. They felt guilty. And they said, you know what? Once they heard the news that he's back, they said, let's welcome him and let's show that we are believing in him. فَآمَنُوا بِهِ. They believed, all of them. That's why one of the questions that you might have in Ramadan, in the Islamic knowledge competition, I might ask you this question: who is the Prophet that all his people, with no exception, had believed in him? Prophet Yunus. You see, I'm giving you the answer now. Okay, hopefully that you will not forget that. Okay, hopefully that you get it, because Prophet Yunus, Allah had honored him. So he passed the test. How did he pass the test, Imam? La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. Allah had rewarded him after he passed that test. Then Allah said, فَمَتَّعْنَاهُمْ إِلَىٰ حِينٍ. And we made them to enjoy the environment of Iman. Allahu Akbar. Can you imagine the whole city mu'mineen? Did you live before in a whole city where everyone is believer? Mu'mineen, who give the testimony that they are mu'mineen? Not me, not you, because we might exaggerate. We might say, mu'mineen. Allah said, but Allah said, mu'mineen. The whole community are mu'mineen. You would love to live that life. You say, Subhanallah, they might pass by Ismail and welcome him. Ismail come to pray Fajr. Then they meet brother Abdul Basit. Brother Abdul Basit, we invite you for dinner, come on. And they might show the generosity to brother Rashid, taking care of brother Hamza, helping brother Habib. That's the believing community, right? And Subhanallah, that was the reward of passing the test of Sayyidina Yunus alayhi salam. Inshallah, next week, inshallah, we continue with Surah Al-Saffat to see what other stories that Allah had sent with this surah. You see, beautiful message actually, Surah Al-Saffat. This is surah that we need to be attached to, really, because we will learn a lot. If you want to do a favor for yourself and for your heart and for your iman, from now, Thursday, till inshallah, Wednesday, read Surah Al-Saffat. Just to recite Surah Al-Saffat. And you will find that you will find yourself like clicking with many of the meanings that I have explained in these sessions. May Allah accept from all of us. Allahumma ameen. May Allah keep us always attached with the Quran. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.